3 shots, 4 par, I just do 2. 1 putt, par 4, birdie, woohoo. New driver, info, replace, M2, par 5, fairway, what you fin do? Think I'll try to get on into, start right, good line, good view, it drew, shooter McGavin, 2 thumbs that's up high.
No water in the mini one.
No, I didn't think it could. I didn't think it.
We've had a few people ask though.
Yeah, no, that's okay though. That's all right. Like usually, like you gotta, like you guys got towels and stuff too. So if you got one of the
Well, that's fine
towels,
because if you want the water, you just get the big one. Like it's not huge.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still, you know.
Yeah, and some people where it kind of came from was some people said they didn't even want the water and it was too big.
Yeah.
You know, people like to have a wet towel, some of them, or some of them like to spit on their clubs still. So the mini's perfect for that because it's so small and light. The magnet's super strong, and you got the heavy duty bristles on there that aren't, you know, metal like the competitors who will poke you or warp or get caught in your towel, etc.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Nick, we're into it. So we got the mini here. Anybody is watching?
There it is.
Watch us over on YouTube or I posted a clip earlier on Instagram. Mainly an audio podcast, but if anybody wants to, go check us out on YouTube because we got a couple of them here. So
awesome.
So this is the OG. This is the original, right?
Yep.
So this is kind of like
that's where the story started.
Yeah, just add water. You put it in there. I remember like hearing about it, I think from a buddy of mine, Kirk, and he said something about it, and then you and I ended up we got talking and realized that we live 2 blocks from each other, so it's kind of cool, which is sweet. So
a couple mutual friends.
Yeah. So we're all kind of playing out at the same course. So Nick, I know I posted a reel not too long ago, so tomorrow morning I'm up bright and early getting to the range. So anybody who's kind of tuning in, I'm gonna probably even pop this up maybe even early, so anybody can check it out. But if you see me at the Osprey Valley event, I got a couple in my pocket, so come by, grab one. But Nick, if you can give us kind of an idea, no, we don't have maybe a ton of time for this one, but an idea of kind of how things got started with Grooveit Brush, where you guys are now. I know you said you're 4 or 5 years later, and then we can just get into a bit of a chat.
Yeah, I'll try and sum it up quick. It can be a long story, but that's a story for another day. But to kind of sum it up really quick is I had a friend of mine from work who was guiding me through my golf, my beginner golf life. And we really started to get into the weeds on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, lessons. And so we were just kind of entrenched in that world and sharing back and forth equipment, lessons and stuff like that. One day he shoots me a message. He's playing with a guy who had this cool, unique water squirting brush on his bag. I said, hey, that's really cool. Never seen it before. Check it out online. 20 followers or something on Instagram. Hardly any posts. Couldn't really find out too much information on it. So ended up asking my wife to buy me one for Christmas. And being the good wife she is, it was there under the tree on Christmas morning. I took it out. I looked through it. Man, I noticed right away, it hit me that this thing was high quality and very unique and cool. So that night I wrote probably a 3-page email to whoever was on the other end of the contact page, just explaining who I was, how I thought this could really be a good product for the masses. And if it wasn't doing well, give me a shot to try and help out. And, ended up being Clint, the owner, inventor, founder from Oklahoma on the other end of that. And he got back to me a couple of days later and said, let's set up a phone call. Our first phone call was 4 hours and, boom, that was kind of the beginning of it. And we started getting them out to, YouTubers and Instagram influencers, some pro caddies, getting feedback on it. And it just kind of took off, to be honest.
And that really speaks for the product too, the fact that you opened it and kind of noticed right away how good of a quality product it was, because there's a lot of products out there in the specific region of golf, like the accessory part, that look great and fantastic, but are very like cheap and don't really work as advertised and stuff. So that really speaks towards how good the product is.
Yeah, that's really something that we've noticed. I mean, we've had a lot of success, and some of that is luck, and but a lot of that is product quality, because you can get in touch with the best people in the world as long as they're willing to accept the item. If they take it and don't like it, you're never going to hear from them again, right? So, like I mentioned earlier, we're in over 1,100 Walmarts, all the Dick's, all the Golf Galaxy south of the border, and now in Golf Town in Canada, and just kind of we're selling them everywhere. Which kind of led us to a few years of solid sales and reputation, building an online social media presence, right? You guys know all about that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's something that kind of when I mentioned off the hop, somebody that I knew that was in the golf space, they like wanted one, they like needed one. I kind of had a look at it, and that's when you and I got connected, and I thought the same thing. I was like, this is such a good product. And I don't know, Bryce, maybe you would think the same thing. I didn't really think there was something there for golfers that was really kind of doing what we needed for our bags, or cleaning the clubs the way that we wanted to, right? So I think it's just so easy to kind of just pop it out, give it a squirt. Or even the mini is the one that I've been using now. So like I always have like a half a wet towel or whatever it is, and just kind of might have some water on the clubs, quick scrub, and then it's so clean, man. And like the magnet too is like
That's
so
the best
strong.
part.
It's the best part. Like it doesn't fall off, doesn't
You
fall
can
anything.
almost throw it back at your bag in the magnet.
Yeah.
We have some people who have done that, and at work or something, I'll throw it against the lockers, have it stick, or just kind of mess around with it. But the mini came. That was a kind of another interesting birth on that one. Was myself and Clint, we had met because of COVID, actually never end up meeting in person. I'm in Canada, he's in Oklahoma, so we didn't meet for over 2 years of doing business together. And with the travel, that situation. But ended up being that 2 years ago at the PGA show in January, we linked up, met in person, played some golf rounds, talked some business, and at that point we were very well established with the big wet brush. And there's other competitors with a small brush, and we just thought there's room for improvement here. People love the magnet, like you guys just said already. So that's kind of what we were thinking. The other ones use a retractable cord. It's just the way it is. And, other ones, use metal bristles, which, scratch your clubs, poke your finger, get caught in the towel. They kind of warp over time. And people really love the bristles and the big ones. So we just said, okay, look, let's make a mini version. No water, yes, but like you said, you don't really need it all the time. So the mini one's really taken off on I would say the tour pros, have used it a lot. On LPGA, PGA players are using it. Corn Ferry, and basically what's happened there is people are using it on their hip on range sessions, or the caddies find it just good to have on the bag. They can rip it off, toss it to their player, get it back. It's not, you're not restricted by a cord or anything.
Yeah, so it's just so accessible, right?
Yeah, that's doing really well now, and we're just kind of trying to spread the word on the mini more so with the people who maybe walk and carry, because the bigger one size is one of the typical feedback we get from some people who may carry their bag. I don't know if you guys do, but you carry a bag, maybe you want the mini on there, and it's a lot better off for those type of players.
Well, I don't carry. I pretty much ride every time, because in the States, your green fee just includes a cart, unlike Canada where you pay the extra fee. But I don't know. Like, it is a little bulky, but riding a cart, I'd never complain about the size ever.
Yeah.
I think even like the mini seems great. It looks awesome. I don't have one, but the big original one I think is great size. I don't think it's too bulky at all.
Yeah, no, it's like, everyone has their preferences. When I play and ride, I end up actually just putting the magnet right to the cart rail.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that. Wow.
Yeah. You just kind of stick it like, where you put your rangefinder, Bryce? Like if you just kind of,
I've never thought about that. That's a great idea.
So Nick, like, what is it like for you guys kind of, I know there's a story, we got to have you back on when we have a little bit more time, but like there was a story with like, Clint is a vet. He's kind of gone through, he's built a product. He's, we want to go through kind of how all of that came about. Maybe even Clint could jump on with us, but like, it's got to be so cool. Like last couple weeks ago, we saw Allison, I think her last name's Corp, is at the U.S. Women's Open. She won. I noticed it was on her bag with the caddy. Hopefully you don't mind us saying this, but I know like Scotty Scheffler, so Ted Scott's carrying it around for Scotty Scheffler. Sam Burns had it on his hip, stuff like that. So it's like, what is that like for you guys being involved in a product, or, in kind of something that you become passionate about, and then you see the best players in the world using it? And I think when Bryce mentioned the quality, that's like the biggest testament to that, is they wouldn't use it if it wasn't the best product out there in the space. Right. So
Yep, and man, I'm telling you that feeling that when you make something, and Clint and I kind of came up with this mini together, whereas the wet brush was his brainchild, and we kind of came up with this mini together. So to see it come from that,
Yeah.
where we met at the PGA show that first time, took us about a year to get the molds production out there. Then we circle back with all the caddies and the pros we know and say, hey, look, if you like the first one, you're gonna love this. And it just kind of took off. So you turn on the first or second tournament, and you start seeing a couple on bags, and you're like, your eyes get big and go, oh wow. It's really special to know that you're got one little sliver of something to do with the pro tours with your product, right?
Well, I was gonna say too is like, I mean, I'm a pretty avid golf fan. Like, I watch a lot of golf, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners do too. But pay attention next time they go to they pan to the range of guys hitting balls, and watch how many guys are using.
Yeah,
this. Like, it's insane.
You're starting to see it more.
Yeah.
Every guy or caddy, one of them, is using the little brush. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
like
for sure.
where we got kind of talking again, like Nick, you and I kind of chat probably once a month or once in a while, and like where we got talking is I'm caddying this weekend for Ziggy, a friend of mine, Ziggy, so he's going to be at the Osprey Valley event. So that was kind of the thing. I was like, oh, I gotta make sure I got one. Got to keep the grooves clean and stuff for Ziggy. I got I want to make sure I'm at my best for him, and part of that is making sure it might seem like such a small product or whatever it is, but it's like it's truly something that when you could even be using it as like just an average golfer, and you just want to keep your clubs clean, right? But like if you're an elite golfer and that makes a big difference to the outcome of the shot that you're hitting, like why not outfit yourself with the best possible tool on the market? Like Brycer and I have on a bunch of different. I always protect myself from this, and so does Bryce, because we typically have on like a bunch of different brands and stuff like that. But in the golf space, this is the best tool for anybody cleaning their clubs at this time. I think we can both confidently say that. I think you obviously think that too, Nick. So
we're a little biased, but appreciate that. For sure.
Yeah. So
you know what else is good for caddies on pro events, Mac?
What's that?
Not losing the rangefinder.
I never lost the rangefinder. No. It was his, like, the buckle on the Bushnell thing was open, so I put it in the pocket so I wouldn't lose it. And he was scared that I lost it. We were on like the second or third hole. He thought he was gonna have to go all day without a rangefinder. So, but I'm back. He's got me back again. So, Nick, man, really appreciate you just kind of jumping on with us. Kind of giving us an idea of the tool. I would love to have you back, and if Clint's able, or even if you just want to, we would love to know. We'd love to get the full story. We love like the idea of whenever Brycer and I talking about like a brand or something like that, we love to get the idea of like the infancy, how the inception of the whole idea. We love to see how like you go through the process. You mentioned the molds and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, the struggles and the success. And all the ups and downs.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot there, and we'll have to get back, and we'll get Clint on here and tell his story. He's got a lot of stories, so it'd be a long one, but they're all good. They're all interesting, and he was a helicopter pilot in the U.S. Army for years. So
that's what I mean. That's what we like talking about.
Experience.
Yeah, we love just having those random stories and seeing how that kind of somehow ties back into the golf world. It's sweet, man. So again, anybody at this point in time that's kind of listening to us, the show notes below, we're going to link the website, both products, the Instagram for Grooveit Brush. Go over and check them out if you haven't already. I'm sure you have. And by chance, if you see me at the Osprey Valley, come by. I'm going to have one for you. That'll be really cool. So thanks, Nick, for setting me up with those.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, good luck at the tournament. Thanks for having me on, and we'll chat again soon, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully we got in a couple days, we got a PGA Tour Canada winner with one on the bag. So hopefully we can do that for you. That'd be sweet. Nick, this was great, man. And we got to tee it up again soon.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime.
He's out in my ball in the course where I tee up. I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross, worst case scenario.